And I shall take my leave now. Peace!
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge week! We have a lot of things happening, so we are here to cover everything for you. I am your host Sugo, and shout out to our editor Alex, and welcome to This Week in Wynncraft. Starting off with major news, including changelogs, patches, and highlights. This week's biggest change has to be the new patch, but before that, I'll quickly get the other stuff done and dust it quickly. For this day and the next, we are having a double XP event active right now, so if you haven't already, get ready to grind mobs and prof. Now that's enough of the stalling, let's get into the main news, the patch. So the biggest changes this patch were, well, let's start with the biggest one. Level scaling abuse is removed. Now if you do quests or raids at any level, you will now gain XP no matter what. /GU XP 100 no longer works, and it no longer locks you out of getting XP. And with this, one of the most overpowered ways of playing is now gone. There's also new music which you can find in the changelog, and a lot of quests and bugs have been fixed. Now this is another big one, but all player states are now reset at the start of the raid room. Now what does this mean? Basically, when you enter a new room or a boss, you will get all your health back, all your active effects reset, and you will get your mana back. Effects do not include consumables, by the way. And all your cooldowns will be refreshed as well. And more so, to avoid players skipping boss stages, bosses now gain a big resistant effect after entering a certain HP threshold, depending on the boss. Now for each raid, there have been some raid changes and new stage effects exclusive to guild raids. Note, some of these have their numbers changed, adjusted like after the patch, like with a few hot fixes. You can find those on the Wynncraft Discord. Starting with Nest of the Groot slangs. The egg room has increased the spawn rate of eggs and reduced the duration you have to kill an egg. And the wormling spawn rate has been sped up in the tower room in the guild raids as well. Now let's talk about NOL. The tower parasite room is much more tighter and has less delay time between each parasite, and the cloud room timer has also been reduced, so you have to kill the mobs really fast. Then we have the canyon colossus. The lava room has significantly higher lava plume spawn rate. The platform hold room now hits much harder for messing up, and the golem and hastel have become much more glacier, making these rooms much harder. And last but not the least, we have TNA berry room, which has much lower timer now. Stomp room hold has much more void holds. Dark room is tighter, so you have to stay closer to your light holder. And bulb catchers have reduced timer, so the pressure is higher. And the HP for giant void hole in the void matter room is cut by half. TNA definitely got the most changes. Now on to loot runs. Due to the introduction of trials, reward sacrifices have been nerfed to be lower per sacrifice, albeit they're staying the same at a single sack. So single sack runs aren't being changed. However, crimson beacons are now more likely to appear as well. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this changelog, the balance changes. First up, we got Archer. Ghostly Trigger has gotten a full rework. Divine Intervention has got an AoE nerf. Arsenal Synergy got a buff, albeit it's still Arsenal Synergy, so it's not that big of a deal. Frenzy has gotten a well-deserved nerf. Shocking Bomb got a buff alongside Coursing Restraints. Grappling Hook has been significantly improved. And now I will mention a small controversial change that got reverted. The triple shot focus change. The team was originally torn between pushing that change or not, but post-launch, after community feedback, they realized, and after reading the feedback and analyzing the feedback, they understood that it was a mistake and reverted it. So Melee Archer lives on to see another day. Then we got the Warrior with the most changes. The tree positioning has been changed majorly, making a whole new tree to utilize now. Then alongside some Battle Monk adjustments and Axe Kick adjustments, Pressure's Bash boost also got a significant buff. And lastly, Flying Kick, Counter and Air Shout got rebalanced. From my point of view, this is a step in the right direction, but Battle Monk still has a long way to go. But with this direction, I am optimistic to see where it goes. And last but definitely not least, Paladin got a new ability, buffing Flaming Uppercut. However, this was also balanced by the other uppercut upgrades, not increasing your holy power. With this in mind, Sparkling Hope has now been evicted from the Paladin tree and is now a homeless 1 AP ability. Homelessness is a real problem, guys. Alright. Now, Assassin also got a lot of changes. First up, Acrobat got another mechanic change. Jasmine Bloom has been tweaked a bit, where its extra interactions with Swan Dive is given to a unique ability on itself called Petal Storm, where Petal Storm now scales off of percentage conversions instead of raw. And the AoE of Ripple, Swan Dive, and Petal Storm has also been increased. And lastly, Momentum has been revamped to be a multiplicative bonus, but is much harder to stack. Next up, Trickster finally arrived at the chopping block. The smoke stacking strategy on Trickster is now gone. You can still use smoke bombs, don't get me wrong, but they don't stack anymore, making Trickster Spin Multi the definitive go-to playstyle again. And last but not the least for Assassin, Sasujin got a revamp. Its damage went from 2 times your multi-hit damage to 3 times, but it consumes all the marks. This is to improve heavy spell playstyles and hopefully, with some shade playstyles, where you do a lot of burst damage at once, also get improved with this. To support this change, Harvester is also finally useful now, as it gives you mana based on marks consumed and isn't relied on some janky mob based mechanics. Next up we got mage changes. The overall damage of mage has been nerfed unless you play Lightbender. If you don't pick Thunderstorm, your damage multipliers through Winded got a damage nerf. If you do play Thunderstorm, then your damage amp through the Thunderstorm aspect got nerfed a bit as well due to aspect no longer speeding up Thunderstorm, so yeah. Lastly we have Shaman. Acolyte finally got some well-deserved nerfs, where Eldritch Call's vulnerability has been reduced from 20 to 15. And Summoner got nerfed too, through the Invigorating Wave nerf, albeit I hope it doesn't affect it as badly. And lastly, a bug regarding Eldritch Call and Shadow Totem is now finally fixed. Oh my god, my throat hurts! Anyway, on to the item changes. Nothing too notable, just a bunch of accessories added to low-level item pools, yeah, and like a weapon which is a low-level weapon, so those are nothing too notable. But we did get new endgame armor, so if you guys can figure out what the new items are, please comment down below. Now a change I liked is that powder specials can grant mana of the same value regardless of attack speed. Now one unfortunate news is that Seeking Totem, the Guardian build, is now mostly dead, as its healing functionality has been removed due to altruism no longer functioning in Corrupted. Now let's go on to the rebalances, the most gritty part of the video. Divzer got a huge nerf. Its mana has been decreased by 33% and its base damage has been reduced as well. Although personally I think Divzer was kinda holding Archer back, as think of it like this. If Archer as a whole got better, then Divzer would just create really crazy damage situations out of nowhere. For example, Bolt Slinger at launch. But at the same time, I'm not too sure about how good Divzer is compared to weapons like Grandmother anymore, so only time will tell. Resonance also got a major nuke to its damage, where its base damage went down significantly. Albeit, to compensate it a bit, its major ID multipliers were increased. Now this is something people skipped through. Labyrinth actually got a crazy buff this patch, unless you're a lazy player. So the new Labyrinth major ID makes it so your traps don't generate focus anymore. That sounds like a nerf, right? However, their damage did get buffed by a decent margin to compensate. Now here's why this is an overall buff. You can still generate focus using Phantom Rays and play Labby more actively. And that focus will still boost your trap damage, so basically, as long as you play more actively, you are getting a buff for Labby. Yeah, then Hana major ID got some changes, but we'll first have to see if Acrobat changes are good enough to make Acrobat good, and if they're not, then Hana is still gonna be a little irrelevant. Then we have Hellfire, the Apocalypse major ID. Previously you could not take stuff like Quad Bash, Thunderclap with Apocalypse because the major ID just redid the entire bash. Now it, instead of redoing the entire bash, it adds on to the damage of the bash, which is pretty nice. And last but definitely not the least, all the raid buffs, sorry, have been changed to scale with level. So at lower levels, you will get less of a buff than higher levels. This will allow the raids like, NOTG and NOL to have some buffs that are more according to the endgame standards. That's all the major changes, folks. we are finally done with this section. Woo! On to the build showcase. This week's build is going to be Lament Lightbender. This has gone down in popularity, but with Acolyte nerfs, it should be pretty viable still to get a lot of heals and that sweet, sweet fortitude. On to what's going on with wars and guilds. If you guys thought this peak was gonna be jam-packed with changelogs, you'd be wrong. Cause we got two major news for guilds this week. Starting off with the first one, we got the DVS Discoverers versus HOC Chiefs of Corcus, I think. I don't remember the full name of HOC. A drama. So the drama started in jungle, where the guild HOC asked Sequoia for more territories in jungle free for all, so they can eco properly in the claim. Now some argument or fight broke out, which led to DVS going in and warring HOC out of the jungle claim, leading to both guilds spamming shouts and slandering each other. Here are some screenshots shared in the guild community channel regarding some beefing that happened in-game DMs. Now HOC got a lot of hate due to stuff committed in the past, but this recent wave of hate made people aware of how HOC is inside. And the second major guild news is TAQ the Aquarium is back, and they're on a HQ sniping streak. Here are some screenshots of them pulling off HQ snipes for several guilds, included but not limited to BFS, RADC, ANO, ESI, SEQ, and AQ. Aspects and item loot pools this week. Here are the aspects for this week, and here are the loot pools for this week. Now on to the raid meta updates. I will cover builds that might no longer be in meta for today's episode, since the patch is still fresh, right? And the new meta is still developed. Some stuff that's no longer in meta are Resonance, Trickster, Smokestack, and perhaps Divzer. I'm not too sure yet, we'll have to wait for a bit to see Divzer's performance. Besides this, since Fallen can get healing more easily again through Catamaran, it could make a resurgence in the meta too, so keep an eye out. Major guide changes. I finally put myself together yesterday and updated the guide. Here's the changelog for the guide. And I am so sorry for the insane delays for the guide. Look, guys, I am finally free of NSEMs. I will look into Trickster next week, and with Newt's help, hopefully we'll replace all the Smokestack builds with Spin multi builds as well. Thank you for your patience, guys, while I was going through the NSEMs, and I hope I can keep the guide as high quality as possible. Drama coverage. This week's drama has to do with the new patch, who could have guessed? After the patch was dropped, a lot of tryhard raiders from particular groups or friend circles started lashing out about level scaling being removed, and there were a crap ton of community feedback threads made about the nerfs. Now, I will show you some of the threads, and I hope like these threads are in the screen right now. There are so many threads, so we will be flashing past them a lot. And there were even some threads about changelog formatting. Needs to say, the community had a lot to say about this patch, and I will showcase, well, a lot of these in the screen. But I will also link them in the description. If you are interested, you can go check them out. Although keep in mind, like the level scaling threads, a lot of these are not made in good faith, since this is drama coverage, not community feedback thread of the week, so beware. Anyway, on to the newest green or high roll mythic showcase. This week's high roll mythic is this new green trance by Octorok. On to the best video of the week. The best video of the week goes to this video by Olinus, where he beats Wynncraft with a bajillion debuffs and challenges. Give it a watch, and don't forget to like and comment there too to help out the algorithm. The meme of the week for this week goes to Wynncraft Update 2.1.6. Changelog meme. Submitted by Helm. Now on to the best community feedback thread. For this one, I will not put any feedback thread that I've already showcased in the drama coverage, but instead I will show these feedback threads, which actually I personally liked a lot, and like these were decent, really nice suggestions which weren't made in bad faith either, and have a lot of upvotes as well. One is about improving Shade's gameplay, and the other is about improving Acolyte's gameplay, and I like both of these a lot. But yeah, this was a really packed week, folks, but that's all for this episode, and now our time has come to an end, and I need some water, my throat hurts, okay? But huge thanks to Alex for editing again, and remember to like and subscribe. Yeah, I fumbled the piece. Please cut that part out. No,